I was the one that reported 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah.
The woman who just went online bragging about being the reason 475 people were just arrested. It didn't go the way that you thought, did it? Because the way that you were so happy to share with the world voluntarily that you were the one that contacted ICE, that got that Hyundai plant that was in the middle of being constructed completely shut down, and over 400 people arrested, most of them being Koreans, which you seemed kind of confused about until you realized that Hyundai is owned by Koreans. And that the reason they had so many people from other countries here was because they knew they were going to have to train Americans to do this job. Because all of their instructions from Korea were in Korean. So they got approval to send people here to the United States to construct their massive facility.
Remember when people like Tori Branum, who even face filters want nothing to do with, was all like, "They were here at the Hyundai plant without visas illegally." Well, it's been officially confirmed by the South Korean government, or apparently even Trump was like, whoa, the people from the Hyundai plant do not have to leave. They can continue to work if they want to. And South Korea was like, yeah, no, we want them to come back to South Korea because you guys are horrible. In addition, they're not even going to be handcuffed when they get taken to the plane. And not only are they allowed to return back with no penalties whatsoever, but Marco Rubio himself stated that he's going to delete all records related to any of their detention so that there is zero record that anything ever happened to them so that they can return with no issues. Well, that's weird. If they were all here illegally and without visas and expired visas, then why is Trump begging them to stay and the rest of our government saying, oh, no, sorry, we're going to make this up to you. It didn't even happen. We're going to pretend like it didn't even happen. Oh, right, because it's been confirmed that every single one of them had a valid visa. And because the US government has been a circus this year and dropped the ball with visas, the people from the Hyundai plant had to get creative, but they were all here legally allowed to work. So yeah, looks like they weren't illegal, and you just lost over 15,000 jobs for the state of Georgia for nothing. So remember, Tori Branum, when you don't get elected for Congress, it is purely because of your own ignorance, hatred, and overall stupidity.
Hello and what's up, family? What's up, good people? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. Now, if anything screams hate, ignorance, xenophobia, entitlement, then it is these MAGA politicians and MAGA policies, including MAGA crowds. Now, family, today I want us to talk about something we have probably already come across in the media recently, and Americans have not been happy with this story at all. Now, I want us to talk about something that might look like on the surface, a small story. But if you dig deep, like we always do in this channel, it says a lot about the state of American politics, the ignorance of leaders or leadership, and the dangerous entitlement that MAGA crowd, have. And we are talking here in this video about Tori Branum, an aspiring Republican leader in Georgia who openly came out bragging about calling ICE agents on foreign workers who are helping build that Hyundai plant in her state. And yeah, you had it right. They were building a plant in her state, and she called ICE goons on them. Instead of seeing the bigger picture, she chose to target people she only saw as outsiders. And the bigger picture is eventually, after the completion of what was that plant, there was a lot more benefit than what she saw from her hateful, xenophobic point of view. That to me reveals more than just an act of ignorance. It exposes a mindset of hate, of fear, of misplaced entitlement. And many Americans have simply agreed with what I also, I'm saying here. And I want us to share some of the brief reactions of Americans to this case of Tori Branum, and we'll be back to dig even deeper. So I'll see you on the other side.
Hi, as someone who worked on the Blue Oval Ford plant, Blue Oval City up here in Stanton, Tennessee, kind of, in between Jackson and Memphis, I stayed there for about a year last year working on this project. And let me tell you something, a woman who is claiming that she called ICE on that Hyundai plant in Georgia, this is going to be so much bigger than just Hyundai. Okay? Ford itself, the most American car manufacturer you can think of, every single bit of our machinery was set up and programmed by South Koreans. The engineering of the building, the engineering of the machines, every bit of it was done by SK Engineering out of South Korea. Yes, the same SK that is part of SKT T1 Telecom, the big league team. Yeah, Faker, this guy, their engineering branches who designed and set up these machines. What they do is for the years that the plant is being built, because South Korea is heavily invested in our electric vehicle manufacturing and production. So what they do is they design the machines, send them over here, we set them up, millwrights, everything else. We set the iron, we set the building up, we get everything up. And then they come over, set up the machines, and then train American workers how to run the machines. This woman not only just cost Georgia billions of dollars with this plant, because I highly doubt that South Korea will send their workers back. If they do, it's going to be under very strict rules for the Trump administration. If you don't think that word will get around to every other car manufacturer, because it's not just Hyundai. It is Ford, it's Chevy, it's Nissan, Mazda, Toyota, every single one of them. The machines are designed, installed, and set up by South Koreans. It's the biggest, when you think of car plants, it's intertwined. So no, you idiots have not only just cost Georgia billions, you've created a massive diplomatic problem that this administration will not be able to handle right. And on top of that, there's a good chance that any of these other car plants that have gone up in the last few years that haven't had their machines set up yet, odds are you've just fucked with those jobs as well. You are talking about tens of thousands of American jobs. Poof, up in smoke. So congratulations, MAGA. Your racism is once again going to cost us billions of dollars because you guys can't get over the fact that people who aren't white are better than you.
I don't think William Tecumseh Sherman did as much damage to the state of Georgia as that woman who called ICE on Hyundai and their employees, had them all detained, and now South Korea is throwing a massive fit. They sent their own citizens down to train Americans so that they could be fully functional in this factory. Trump and MAGA complain all the time. Where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? They're overseas. Bring them back to America. And then when we finally do, some dumbass, bitch-ass idiot calls ICE and has these people detained. Now South Korea has sent a plane, picked up all their asses, and who knows if they're ever coming back. This is going to take 8,000 plus jobs away from the state of Georgia, and possibly many more, and all this manufacturing that they would have had, all the money this would have generated for the state of Georgia and our country is now potentially gone, and that may just be that little.
Tori Branum, step to the front, girl. Not only did you mess up Hyundai's entire schedule and suspended the project that was going on in Georgia, you have effectively made South Korea start investigating us for human civil rights crimes against their citizens. South Korean officials interviewed the citizens that went back to South Korea from the Hyundai plant, and they have come up with some pretty horrendous experiences. And South Korea, in doing so, is investigating ICE. Some of these allegations include black mold and an infestation of such, 80 people to one room, sleeping in shackles, shackled together, sleeping and eating very close to an open toilet. Okay, my toilet right now is less than a foot away from me. They were closer. South Korean government even said that these people that they interviewed said that they were treated like violent criminals, and the guards were consistently mocking them. And although the president said that hopefully this is just a bump in the road, they are going to investigate the United States and ICE for what they did to their citizens who were just trying to work. I hope it was worth it, Tori.
I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE.
So just to be clear, What you're proud of is hundreds of people being ripped out of a Georgia factory in one of the biggest ICE raids in history. 475 people, most of them South Koreans, were detained. And here's the thing. Hyundai already confirmed none of them even worked directly for Hyundai. Hyundai, that's how you pronounce it, by the way. They were subcontractors. Many were here on expired visas, not illegals hiding in the shadows like you're trying to sell. Translation? You didn't even expose some massive criminal conspiracy. You just disrupted lives, families, and jobs, and you're bragging on here online like it's a badge of honor. Maybe instead of clout chasing ICE, you should chase a history book.
So I read the details from the journal of one of the Hyundai plant workers detained from the raid, and here's a summary. Mr. A entered the U.S. with a B-1 visa. He was planning to stay for 2 months to help establish the plant and do knowledge transfer to local employees. After they were arrested, during which there were no explanations, no reading of rights, they were forced to sign arrest warrants that they couldn't fully understand, but they thought if they cooperated, they'd be released because as far as they knew, they hadn't done anything wrong. After being on standby for over 9 hours, they were handcuffed, chained, and transported to a detention facility. They were shoved into cells for 72 people with 4 toilets and 2 urinals, all open with no privacy. The bunk beds had mold. They were not given any hygiene equipment. It was so cold that they used towels they had with them to try to warm themselves up. They were also given stinky water, which was suspected to be spoiled. On the 3rd day, Mr. A was interviewed. He was given a voluntary departure form and was asked about various things like whether he was South Korean or what was he doing. Mr. A was angry. He didn't understand why he was being detained. Everything that he was doing was permitted under B1. But at least the interrogators were in good spirits, as they reportedly joked amongst themselves about North Korea, about Rocket Man, a nickname indicating Kim Jong-un. Mr. A felt that they were mocking him. On the 4th day of detention, Mr. A was put in a prison uniform despite not having committed any crime and was put into a cell for 2 people, though many had to remain in the 72-people cell due to the slow speed of the process. So based on that, I'm not surprised that the Korean government has announced that they will launch a human rights violation investigation on the matter and, if necessary, take actions against the US. Koreans should really take note of this because I've heard from so many Koreans that we're apparently special, even among the Asians. We're not like the Chinese who are rivals of the US as opposed to us. We're friends, we're allies. Is this how friends treat each other? Because this is not my idea of friends. This sounds more like something you do to an enemy. And also, I think this is an opportunity to really ask yourself, for the sake of the countless people who were thrown in such facilities for not days, but weeks or months, does anyone deserve this kind of unnecessary cruelty?
That lady who called ICE on those South Koreans at the Hyundai plant in Georgia, South Korea responded. Yeah, y'all remember this lady who claimed to call ICE because the union workers couldn't get jobs. They weren't allowing Americans to get jobs. But really, it was just South Koreans bringing over people to build this Hyundai plant in order to set it up and get Americans to come and learn how to set up these Hyundai parts. Yeah, she's made a fool of herself. Over $300 billion was invested to bring South Koreans over, build up this Hyundai plant so that they can open up jobs to Americans to come in and learn from these South Koreans in order to build jobs, manufacturing, and all that for Americans. And she called ICE and got them detained and shackled. South Korea had to come and tell our government to unshackle their workers, who, mind you, again, they were on visas. They had work visas to be over here. South Korea told America, unshackle them. We're sending a charter plane. I know they like to say, oh, we sent a charter plane to bring them back to South Korea. No, South Korea sent that charter plane, not America. This is why I say racism is it's just so, you can't do nothing but laugh at racism. Because this lady, I think her name is like Tori Branum or something like that, Branum. This lady has nothing tied to this Georgia plant. Nothing tied to the car industry. Nothing tied to any manufacturing industry ever. So my question is, and it's always the case, I swear to you, this is always the case when stuff like this happens. It's always by somebody that has no ties to any type of job. Their job isn't even related to the manufacturing. So why do you care? Why did she feel so obligated enough to go out of her way and do this? She has since then deleted her account. She tried to make multiple videos accounting or trying to back up like she didn't do it. She said in a video, well, it wasn't actually me who called ICE. You came on this internet and made this video for what? I don't know. Did you expect people to rally behind you? Because it was the dumbest decision and it cost America billions of dollars. And again, she had zero ties to this. I doubt she knew anyone who even wanted to be in that manufacturing position. In fact, even if she claims she did, and if anyone claims that we were waiting on jobs, you couldn't even work the job because you don't have the knowledge or information on how to build this plant. So South Korea responded. They said that they're not doing it. South Korea said that they're done. If y'all don't know, the people in South Korea, they're protesting this. They're telling South Korea to not bring these people back. Billions of dollars is going down the drain for America. Over 8,000 jobs are gone now, all because of the decisions of one person. And she came on the internet and thought that she did the right thing. She did not think that this was the case. She thought that she was detaining other immigrants, the bad ones. It's crazy, man. The stuff that we have to deal with, the stuff that we have to go through for the next 3 years, it's still the first year. We haven't even gone through a whole year.
You won't believe this. A MAGA congressional candidate, Tori Branum, just triggered one of the largest ICE raids in U.S. history. And get this, she went after legal visa workers at Hyundai's brand new $7 billion Georgia plant. The result, over 8,000 jobs were completely wiped out. Entire families lost their livelihoods. Why? Because Branum assumed South Korean H-1B visa workers were illegal. Now, South Korea is outraged, obviously. Billions in foreign investments are suddenly on hold, and Georgia's massive new auto industry project hanging on by a thread. All of this chaos because one MAGA candidate couldn't tell the difference between a legal visa holder and an undocumented immigrant. This isn't just ignorance, this is recklessness that cost thousands of jobs and is damaging America's international reputation. Sad part is coming from a MAGA, you actually can believe it.
This is Tori Branum, a Georgia congressional candidate who is sabotaging Trump and Kemp's investment. My name is Musa, and I'm an attorney, and I have been for the last 25 years, and we want to talk about Tori. Now, let's go back to that picture. That wasn't her. Those were highly edited photographs of her. The real Tori looks like the woman that ate the Tori that was in those photographs. Here's what happened. Georgia has a Hyundai plant where LG makes batteries for electric vehicles. It's a $3.5 billion investment into the state of Georgia. Even though a lot of the environmental people in Georgia didn't like it, most people really did. And they really had a huge investment here, and they had plans and they had agreements to keep people here to get the plant up and running. And that's why there were so many contractors in the United States at that time. This was okayed by Governor Kemp of the state of Georgia and is a big part of the MAGA platform that has been put out there by President Trump. So what is this? This is a lesson to be learned about stupid people. Now, Tori is telling everyone that she is just going out there and she's just protecting the American people, contrary to what I guess Trump and Kemp were doing. I guess the investment that they got, she believes, consistent with her politics, are anti-American. So she thinks President Trump and Governor Kemp are anti-American worker and anti-American. Second, she didn't know if any of them were undocumented. She called and stated they were, but there's no proof that she knew or anyone knew if any of them were undocumented or overstayed their visas. So they went in there based on her tip without any prior knowledge or investigation into anybody that had been there before. And again, this is what happens when you keep electing stupid people. Now, I don't wish Tori any harm at all in any way. To the contrary, I just need someone to let her know she's stupid so she doesn't think she's normal like the rest of us. So let's recap. And let's start all the way back from the campaign. Trump campaign, making sure foreign countries invest in this country. We're not shipping all our money out there. They better put some money back in here. Yeah. Okay. Governor Kemp really pushing hard to get this thing going. He's a Republican governor here in Georgia, and he really wanted to make sure that he got all of the business that he could into the state of Georgia and help build the infrastructure. He's trying to get rid of the state income tax. And then you have Hyundai saying, you know what, we're going to invest $3.5 billion into a rural part of your state of Georgia and really, really, help the state and help us, and this is going to be a mutually beneficial thing, and we'll be able to get around tariffs because the things are going to be made right there in your own country, in your own state. And some moron sees too many Asians there and calls ICE. And what does ICE do? I mean, we're headed by Kristi Noem, right? So we're talking about a domino effect of stupid. We're not talking about the best and the brightest. Being in politics is no longer about being the best and the brightest. Being an elected official is no longer about being the best and the brightest. Don't be mistaken. This, whatever, takes it upon herself to go ahead and do that. And the buffoonery and the shooting yourself in the foot about it is just hilarious. And she's doubling down on it now, saying she's protecting the American worker and protecting being an American. So that logically means that the MAGA agenda and Governor Kemp's agenda are both anti-American worker and anti-American.
I really don't understand the ICE raid on the Hyundai power plant. It's so comically illogical that my first thought was somebody close to Trump from within his organization is trying to sabotage him by giving stupid instructions to ICE. Because one of the main reasons for tariffs is to encourage foreign companies to operate in US soil. And not for nothing, that's a valid way to use tariffs. All my liberal friends became the most obnoxious version of someone who's taken Econ 101, tariffs get passed straight to the consumer. No, sometimes companies like Hyundai decide to build a factory in the USA to get around the tariffs. I'm not bringing that up to say the tariffs were a win. I don't know what the net effect of that was. But Hyundai building a plant in the USA to hire US workers to produce batteries for them to sell, that is literally the textbook scenario of success with the tariff. Literally exactly what you want. And then he raids it with ICE and gets rid of the people. The Koreans were there to set up the factory, which is harder than working at the factory, right? Is setting it up for the first time, and then train US workers to do the job. I tend to give people credit. Trump winning the 2016 election, a lot of you are too young to remember this. In 2015, Fox News and the Republican Party did not like him. He had to beat the Republicans, and then he had to beat Hillary Clinton to become president for the first time. So I've never thought that he was dumb. I don't think he's a mastermind, 4D chess, I've seen those memes, his supporters, I don't think that. But he's not dumb. But now I'm thinking that he might actually be. And everything else was a crazy, happy, lucky accident. That's very hard to believe. I think he was smart, and now his mind is starting to go. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. What did he think was going to happen? Right or wrong, I can't even understand.
Okay, now you've had Americans, and that is the stance of Americans. Americans are disappointed and at least very embarrassed with this kind of actions. Now, let's dig a little deeper, and first of all, let's look at the short-sightedness here. Now, if we pause and think about this, these workers are building a plan that would eventually bring jobs, technology, and investment into America, more so into the state of Georgia. In the long term, this plant would benefit Americans. It would employ thousands of locals, and it would stimulate the economy of the state and the whole country, in fact. But what did she see? And this is a leader. She didn't see the opportunity. She didn't see progress. She didn't see the benefit to her community down the line. All she saw was the presence of foreigners, expatriates, and she responded how MAGA respond best: hostility, hate, and suspicion. This is what I call political short-sightedness, fueled by xenophobia. Instead of thinking like a leader, she thought like a reactionary neighbor peeking over the fence. How short-sighted could she be? And you know what's embarrassing? The fact that she's an aspiring leader of American people. But let's also talk about the MAGA mindset, after all. So this is just the essence of the MAGA mindset. It's not about building. It's not about progress. It's not even about patriotism in the sense of the word patriotism. It's about hate first. It's about suspicion first. It's not about America first. We have already, seen that. And this makes it so dangerous because when leaders act on ignorance and hate, they don't just disappoint they don't just embarrass themselves. They even embarrass the whole community, the whole American nation. Think about it. How many industries in America rely on expatriates, or let's say global cooperation, in a world that's so globalized like today? How many major projects from tech to medicine to construction industry involve people from different nationalities that are non-Americans? I mean, since these MAGA raids and MAGA deportation and detention hula baloo choked the country, you have observed how many construction sites have stumbled and have, are stranded, how many construction companies have filed for bankruptcy, and have been coming out to talk about it. But you see, MAGA and MAGA supporters don't see the reality. They live in a bubble that tells them America can stand alone. See, America can be isolated, is superior, it's supposed to reject everyone else. Yet, ironically, the very lifestyle they claim to defend depends on global cooperation. America has been built by people that have come. The America that we know today has been built by people who came. And more so, people that actually were even oppressed. But how about the entitlement with these people? What makes it worse is this entitlement. You can, observe. These people who want results, they want the factories, they want the jobs, they want technology, but they don't want the process that will get you to the factories, to the jobs. They want the shiny end products without acknowledging the labor, the expertise, the partnerships that make it possible to, come up with all these shiny results. That is hypocrisy at its finest, huh? And it's not new. Historically, America has always relied on immigrants, on outsiders, on people considered as foreign in one way or the other, from building railroads to farming, to construction, to tech industries, in education. The contributions of immigrants and experts are everywhere. Yet the MAGA entourage, the MAGA supporters, want to erase that history and act like America is a fortress that is only built by them. That's not patriotism. That is delusion. That is being delusional, yeah? That's now. And something else that's really baffling with this story is the danger of aspiring leaders thinking in this way. And so let's just not forget, it's not just any random person that is doing this, is having this political short-sightedness. This is someone that is running for office, someone who wants to represent the people at higher levels, represent the people of America. If this is how she thinks when she sees experts building a plan that would benefit her own people or her own state, how do you think she'll act when it comes to the bigger issues like immigration, international trade, education, or just other policies like foreign policy? If your worldview is that small, that hateful, and that narrow-minded, you have no business being a leader in the first place at all. Because leadership really requires vision, understanding, patience, and the ability to think beyond one's personal prejudices, And she has clearly shown she owns none of all that. Okay, so I get the anger with Americans reacting to what she, to this lady. So for me, what's her name? Tori Branum actions are not just about calling ICE. No, these are a symbol of what is wrong with MAGA politics or leadership in America, because even the president is someone who is subscribing to the same. Now, in fact, he is the proponent of what is happening. So hate over progress, hate over love, ignorance over vision, entitlement over responsibility. And if that does not change, it will keep dragging America backwards, because there's no way in a world of today you can lie to people that you're putting America first by putting hate first, by isolationism. Leadership is about seeing the bigger picture, but sadly, she has proven that she can't see beyond her own personal prejudices, and that's why this story really matters. If you observe at this circus of Trump tariffs, because now we have seen that people speculate that South Korea might just retaliate by calling off the whole of that project. Now, if you go back to these the tariffs by Mr. Trump, you see, at first it looked like it would shock the whole world, but America. Until now, the world has realized, or Americans or MAGA supporters have realized, that it will even shock America. It will hit America even harder than the rest of the world. Because if we talk about tariffs, which are just taxes, the consumer will always pay the taxes. China has clearly shown that. The neighbors to the north, Canada, the neighbors to the south, Mexico, have shown that they don't even care about over taxation of the products they export to America, because it is American consumers that need these products. And if they have to use them, then they have to pay for the tariffs. So tariffs will always require that Americans dig deeper into their pockets. I mean, not only Americans, but whoever else who has to pay the tax. So the tax is always paid by the consumer. If you don't want to pay the taxes, then maybe you will have to find an alternative from using the product. See, China won't pay the tariffs. Mexico won't pay the tariffs, and Canada won't pay the tariffs. Americans pay. I mean, Walmart will not even pay the tariffs. Those wealthy American corporations won't pay the tariffs. They just hike the prices of products at the stores, at the shelves. And so if you need a product, you dig deeper into your pockets. So simply, Americans must learn that there is a bigger problem essentially with how this MAGA politics is panning out, and it's simply not sustainable. Isolating America is not something that you can even try to think about in this world of today. Let's now, but also something that could be heartbreaking is how someone like this would actually end up in office so very soon. Why? because there is a bigger majority of ignorant MAGA supporters who will go ahead and elect because of the propaganda she is going to sell. These people are coming to take our jobs. These people are coming to take American jobs. And you wish these people could pay attention and know that, no, these are experts who have to set up these plans, and then from then, Americans and the American economy shall benefit from it. You don't have the expertise for that. If you had it, you should have already set up the plant way before South Korea moved in. So nobody else is afraid of this Trump tariffs anymore, because at the end of the day, they're going to hit America even harder. Yeah, that is what I had for you in this particular introspection of what is, transpiring. And I know you have something to say. I'd love to interact with your opinion, your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, share it as well. And if you're new to the channel, we always say, welcome home. Welcome to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button to be part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.